Hi everyone. In this interview post, we're going to walk a process of forgiveness and commitments in our relationship to consequence, to within that see, realize and understand more what consequence is and what is our current relationship to consequence, and within this, why and how the process of change is within and as and through facing consequence. And if one have a look at most of the solutions that exist in human consciousness or this world system or money system, none of it go in depth to the extent that we go within Desteni in terms of facing consequence. I mean, those that, and this one can have a look at the 7-year journey to life process, where those that have walked with Desteni thus far, I mean, you really face consequence as your mind, as you walk through your conscious, subconscious, unconscious, quantum mind, quantum physical. And within this, that if one compare how we're walking and facing consequence to how consequence is being approached within humanity, the mainstream acceptance and allowance of facing consequence is kind of band-aiding it or suppressing, denying or ignoring it through positivity or positive energy or experience. And I mean, we can understand that, this is not something that one necessarily wants to hear, that positivity or positive energy is not the solution, because it feels so good and it assists and support you for a moment or for a while. But what we're proposing is for you to consider that there is another way that is not just momentary, that's not just these moments of feeling better or feeling okay or feeling ordinary. And within this, that the process that we're walking is not just a band-aid. I mean, we're really kind of opening the wounds and getting in there and seeing what is the nature of the consequence that we've accepted and allowed in our minds. What is the negative, the bad, the dark, the evil that exists in there? Walking through it, understanding it. And one will notice within all of this, if you allow yourself to explore the mind or consciousness, that what made what comes up in your mind seem so bad was more your reactive relationship to it. And that when you allow yourself to, through writing and forgiveness and commitments and corrective application, face it, that understanding and that realization of who you've accepted and allowed yourself to be and become, and within that, the realization that you're able to, in fact, change, it really simplifies and stabilizes your relationship to the mind, to consciousness. And I mean, the life review process that's being walked by beings through the portal as well, I mean, it's really interesting because, I mean, they've walked their entire lives on this earth and getting to the other side, and the shit's still there. All the negative, the bad, the dark, the evil. And so they have to face it within the year after or afterlife. There you can't deceive yourself because you have full quantum knowledge and understanding and realization of what consciousness is, of what energy is. And so, you can't run and hide in the positive or band-aid consequence or suppress, deny, or ignore it, because it's here as yourself. So within this, one have to have a look at, what I've explained, that many don't want to hear, that the positive or positive energy is not the solution. And for most part, because it's just easier to go into the positive, but it's not going to become so easy in the future that we're in the process of creating or manifesting, where the consequence is going to become so extreme, so extensive, so absolute in physical reality that no creation of a positive energy or experience is going to make anything better, is going to make anything okay. And so therefore, we say, have common sense. I mean, you can stand in front of the problems that we're facing in this world, in this reality, and praying or being positive or having positive energies is not going to solve it. We need physical change. We need to take actual, real action and change who we are in and as our living. So we're going to get more into that within interviews to come. That real understanding of how we're living consequence instead of solutions. How did we get to that? Why did we accept and allow that? But the point here primarily is, for those that do use those moments of positive energy, what we're saying is that we're presenting a solution that will stand within and as yourself in every moment of breath, where that internal battle between the negative and the positive stop, and you become a living human being that express who you are. So getting into some forgiveness and commitments and corrections in relationship to consequence, within which one will understand more how consequence integrates into our physical bodies. And this is also an interview that was done recently that explained this very well, with regards to how it is that, what you think, what you participate in within your mind. What they did in the interview was basically explain that your physical body is like a sponge, and everything that you participate in within your mind has got a substance to it. And what we're doing at the moment is, with our physical bodies being the sponge, it is essentially absorbing everything that we're participating in. The nature of our thoughts, the nature of our internal conversations, the nature of our imaginations, the nature of our general beingness, our presence within who we are, our emotional and feeling reactions. It's just sponging everything up and absorbing everything. And here, getting into that explanation of how and why it is that we're living consequence. Because in our physical living behavior, it shows the truth of who we are within ourselves. And what I mean by physical behavior, it is what it is that you're physically living out. And that physical living out, meaning this includes those moments of reaction that you have, those movements within yourself when someone just says something, or when someone moves in a certain way and one reacts, or one can really within this as well in process with practicing your relationship to breath and breathing, you can assist and support yourself to become aware of how much you actually physically react to what comes up in your mind, your consciousness. Obviously, this awareness might not yet be as developed as it can be if one, really walk one's process in seeing that even the thoughts that you have, or the imaginations and the backchats and reactions, it all resonate into the physical, and you actually physically react. And within this process, your physical body is absorbing all of that, and therefore thus aligning its resonant presence, its design, its structure, its expression according to your inherent expression within your mind, your consciousness. And that then comes through within how you approach relationships, humanity, this physical existence as a whole. And it's interesting within this that if one have a look at the positive or positivity, many human beings believe that positive or positivity, if you have a look, that is what you more participate in within the conscious, subconscious mind of your mind consciousness system, because you actively, deliberately create a personality system in relationship to being positive or positivity. Personality system meaning that you'll have particular thinking processes, internal conversations, feelings, and behaviors and stuff like that. But for most part, what it is that really resonate and integrate and manifest into your physical body is those moments where the positive personality react to anything that is negative. Because, see, the positive personality, because it's more aligned in the conscious and subconscious mind, it doesn't so much have an influence on the physical body as the reactions that you have to and towards the negative. Within this, we also explained this in previous posts within this blog. Naturally, the mind's relationship to the physical body is through a friction and conflict relationship, which is negative. And so therefore, it is more the negative that have an effect on our physical bodies, because that is the energy that is the source relationship between consciousness and the physical body. So you have, for example, the positive and positive feeling or experience personality systems that then predominantly react to anything negative, dark, evil, or bad. In their minds, in their beingness, in their physicals. It's quite a fascinating alignment that happens there, because it's like in creating a positive character or personality, it's like everything else, it's like you turn against everything else in your mind or your consciousness and within other human beings and this world system or money system and this physical existence, and kind of exalt yourself to remain only in the conscious and subconscious mind. When what's not seen, realized, and understood within this is, the negative or bad or evil or dark is being suppressed, denied, or ignored, and that is actually contributing to accumulating consequence and postponing consequence. Whether such a human being will face their consequence in this life or in the year after, it's going to be there. And in the year after, no positive energy or experience is going to save the individual from themselves. Just like in humanity, no amount of positivity or positive energy is going to save us from ourselves. With the consequences we have accumulated and postponed within our very physical living, our very physical behavior, what it is that our physicals have absorbed as the negative, bad, dark, or evil, and then accordingly came out in what we see in this physical existence. So within this, I will reference this particular interview that was walked in the Future of Consciousness interview series that is essentially preparing human beings with the multidimensional existence of consequence. More specifically in mind possessions, how we create mind possessions, primarily with there currently not being an understanding of what it is that you are participating in your mind is being absorbed by your physical body, and it's accumulating, and it will continue accumulating, take you over or possess you, or you're going to stop accumulation, understand it, direct it, and become the directive principle of you and your life and your living. So this is another important point to understand in the dynamic between the positive and the negative, that even within positive people, the personality or character on a conscious, subconscious mind level might be positive, but the negative reactions are being absorbed and manifested and accumulated within the very physical body of that human being. And so therefore not a solution, because when I look at solution is something where you understand something, you face it, you essentially lay it out on the table, and you find a solution for it that will in fact change it. Not kind of, it's like, imagine you're standing in front of a table and you've got two pieces of paper in front of you. The one paper, all the negative stuff that exists in your mind, the other paper, all the positive stuff. So we've just kind of kept on putting the positive paper over the negative paper, and that's not a solution. A solution is you look at that negative paper and you only work with that negative paper, and you find solutions for all the negative, bad, dark, or evil things. And as we've said, the point that you can really assist and support yourself with is to not react to what is negative, bad, dark, or evil in your mind, but to understand it. This particular point we also walked in detail within this blog in how to face your mind without reaction, but to see it for what it is. So in this interview post, just expanding a bit more on the positive, negative dynamics and relationships. And, for those who have been dabbling a bit in the positive, to maybe just consider another solution, a long-term, real, actual, physical, visible solution through facing the dark, negative, evil, and bad. It's also interesting that there exists this idea, perception, and belief that if you face the negative or bad or dark or evil, that makes you evil. It's bizarre, right? Because what comes up in your mind kind of is you. It exists within your mind, in your physical body, as yourself. And so therefore, kind of saying that getting into it and investigating it, introspecting it, is going to make you negative or bad or dark or evil is ridiculous, because you are it already. It's not going to make you anything more or less. So just also take that point into consideration, and that, facing the reality of your mind is really seeing it for what it is, and it can only define you if you accept and allow it. If you establish your starting point of who you are in relationship to the mind as, I'm going to understand this, and I'm going to establish a solution for who I am and what I am within myself and my living, then, that stand will be who you are. And then that point of definition is, non-existent, where you won't accept and allow it to affect you, because we've got the structure of how to walk through everything in the mind: writing, self-forgiveness, commitments, and corrective application. That gives you the stability to face what's going on within you. And we've also got the support available to stabilize you, which is the Desteni process. Alright, so we didn't get to the forgiveness and commitments yet in this interview post, but we will do so in the next one. Thank you very much.